All right, let's dive right into this explainer on how an ancient philosophy can, quite literally, radically upgrade your modern daily life and your decision-making. Today, we're unpacking the Socratic Method. We're going to look at how you can take this centuries-old approach straight out of the history books and apply it directly to the everyday challenges you're facing right now.
Now that is a seriously heavy question, right? I mean, we all walk around with these completely unexamined beliefs, just kind of assuming our worldview is the absolute baseline of reality. But what actually happens when we're put in the hot seat to critically evaluate and defend those beliefs? Well, more often than not, we realize we don't know nearly as much as we thought we did.
So here's how we're going to break this down. Unpacking the Socratic Method, diving into the 3 core techniques, upgrading your work life, examining personal values, navigating the discomfort, and finally, becoming a better thinker.
Okay, Section 1. Unpacking the Socratic Method.
Looking at this research from Qazi Abdus Samad, there's a really crucial takeaway here. Socrates wasn't just out there trying to communicate basic facts. He definitely wasn't about just handing you the answers. Instead, he wanted to assist people in developing the deep reasoning abilities required to live a genuinely rational life. The ultimate goal is to help you discover truths through your own eyes, rather than just passively accepting what you're told.
And that's exactly why a dialectical method, this back-and-forth questioning, is just light years ahead of traditional lecturing. Think about it. Lecturing is basically a one-way street, right? You just receive information passively without any real critical engagement. But the Socratic method? It requires active thought. You participate, you question the legitimacy of the information, and you ruthlessly eliminate weak hypotheses. It is a highly active exchange.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 core techniques.
First up, we have a technique called Ellenchus. This is an absolutely fantastic tool for your daily life. You basically use Ellenchus to continually question the validity of an argument until the weaknesses and contradictions are totally exposed. So when a colleague or a friend presents a claim, you don't just blindly accept it, and you don't immediately argue against it either. Instead, you playfully interrogate their specific positions and definitions.
Now, the real secret sauce is how you actually do this. It's about exposing false beliefs by asking really targeted questions in a completely unthreatening manner. You act like you're simply trying to understand their viewpoint perfectly. And as you ask these gentle, probing questions, you force the conversationalists to critically evaluate their own logic. Very often, they'll uncover contradictions in their own premises and actually change their initial beliefs all on their own. It's pretty amazing to watch. Okay, our second technique is maieutic, and I love this one because it's built on just a fascinating visual metaphor. The term actually comes from the Greek word for midwifery. Think about that role for a second. A midwife doesn't give birth for the mother, do they? No, they assist the mother in bringing forth life. In daily conversation, instead of forcing your opinions down someone's throat, you act as a conversational midwife. You ask questions that help the other person give birth to their own authentic thoughts, ensuring those ideas are genuine and not just illusions or borrowed sound bites. And finally, we have dialectic. This is where you just strip away the rhetoric of those long, dramatic monologues in favor of a really sharp, focused exchange. It's all about back and forth, concise questions and answers. You use this to explore ideas, categorize them, and drill all the way down to first principles. If you ever find yourself in a meeting where someone is just monologuing for 10 straight minutes, shifting to a dialectical approach, asking short, structured questions, gets everyone straight to the core of the issue.
All right, Section 3, upgrading your work life.
So, how do we actually apply this? By integrating Socratic dialogue, modern managers and really anyone on a team can completely transform their work environment. When you start using this method, you immediately provoke less biased questioning among your team. It pushes everyone to uncover the absolute root causes of problems, instead of just putting a Band-Aid on the symptoms. It also negotiates for extra creativity. Because you aren't dictating solutions, you're questioning the status quo, which forces your team to step up and innovate. Here's a super practical tip you can literally use today. In your next tactical meeting, if someone presents a new plan, you can spark critical thinking by simply posing this hypothesis-eliminating question to your team. Are there any threats associated with this strategy? It's so simple, it's non-aggressive, but it forces the entire room to look at the plan from a completely different critical angle.
Or maybe you're a manager wanting to build up responsible future leaders. Try asking them this: how will this affect other stakeholders in 10 years' time? By projecting the decision a full decade into the future, you force them to weigh both the moral and practical impacts of their choices. You are literally coaching them to think deeper just by asking the right question.
Let's pivot slightly to Section 4, examining personal values.
You can use this exact same style of questioning to interrogate your own moral compass, or to hold your entire organization accountable to its core principles. Asking a question like, "Does this agree with our values?" literally stops people in their tracks. It elevates the conversation from "Is this profitable?" or "Is this easy?" directly to "Is this right?"
And the beautiful thing is, this scales up to modern society perfectly. The source material highlights that Socratic dialogue actually facilitates the peaceful resolution of complex social and cultural problems by helping us truly understand each other. Whether you're in a town hall meeting asking what are the main drivers of this community problem, or you're deep in an online forum discussing global warming and you ask, what economy does this policy balance, this method maintains order and structure. It challenges prejudice without letting things devolve into a chaotic shouting match.
Which brings us to Section 5, Navigating the Discomfort.
Now we have to be real here, because you're actively dismantling unexamined ideas, you are definitely going to hit some resistance. People might get uncomfortable, anxious, or honestly highly defensive when their closely held views are pressed. That is exactly why maintaining a neutral, structured approach is absolutely essential. If you don't act as a neutral facilitator, the dialogue is going to lose focus and just become messy. Plus, let's face it, it takes strenuous effort. Intense scrutiny is demanding, and it takes real time and mental energy to do this right.
And finally, Section 6, Becoming a Better Thinker. But listen, when you push through all that discomfort, the payoff is just massive. By consistently applying these methods in your daily life, you develop a much greater capacity for robust logical analysis. By constantly identifying weaknesses in arguments, especially your own arguments, you actually build significantly stronger reasoning over time. You transform your daily learning from this passive chore into an engaging, creative responsibility. You become highly attentive, and most importantly, you take total ownership of your beliefs. To wrap this explainer up, I really want to leave you with a challenging Socratic reflection straight from our source material. How can individuals claim to fight for everyone's rights, even when doing so would be to the detriment of the welfare of society as a whole? I want you to use this question to test your own unexamined assumptions the very moment this ends. Be your own conversational midwife today and see what genuine truths you can discover for yourself.